Yo, what's up, guys? It's your boy Player X here with the Semi-Limited Podcast. Just want to thank all of our viewers and listeners for tuning in and supporting the podcast. We love and appreciate every single one of you guys for showing love to either the platform or any of our social medias. So we just want to thank you guys for taking the time to check us out and enjoy the content that we've been putting out for you guys. Before we get into this episode, we're going to be doing the recap for YCS Indy as well as the case tournament that we had going on over the weekend as well. But before we get into that, you guys already know it's just a whole bunch of plugins talking about the Linktree link that's in the description box below that you can go right on down and click on. It's going to bring up a tab with all of our social sites that you guys can mosey on through and follow each and every single one of them. We finally hit 50 followers on X, thank God, because I'm tired of talking about that fucking one. So we will be doing a giveaway there. You guys will be hearing about it next episode, so the Friday drop. When we get 50 followers on TikTok, which will be the next one we're focusing on, we will be sure to do another giveaway, as well as when we hit 100 Instagram followers, as well as YouTube followers. I think we're both probably between 80 to 90, I think. So pretty close. We'll be having to do a giveaway for both of those as well. So be sure you guys are a part of it by joining all of those communities. And speaking of community, shout out to Unplugged Gaming in Manlius, New York for sponsoring the podcast. Be sure to join their Discord server down in the description box to be a part of their TCG communities. You can go down there, be a part of their Yu-Gi-Oh one, your Pokemon, maybe you like Magic, maybe One Piece is your interest. You can go down there and be a part of whatever one you feel like it. They're all very open. And if you do pop up in store, be sure to say that the boys over at Semi-Limited sent you and they'll be sure to hook you up. Also, speaking of representation, we have to talk about Brad, aka Mr. Purrfect, who will be streaming live on Twitch every Saturday night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's in the United States East Coast. For those who are listening outside of the United States, his Twitch will be in our Linktree link below. It'll be right above the one for the official page, where you can go down there and join his streams on Saturday nights, where he'd be deck theorying, deck testing, and also communicating with his chat. And be sure to interact with it because all of the highlights that happen on stream also get talked about with the episodes and our Friday night wrap up. So be sure to go check him out every Saturday, again, at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Speaking of Mr. Purrfect, though, because he is so perfect, we are joined today by none other than Brad, who is our Twitch affiliate and partner in content creation. So give it up for him, your boy, Mr. Bradley.
Yeah, meow, yo. You don't gotta wait till Saturday. You get to see me right now.
Me? Ow.
What's going on?
I
Yep,
love it,
so,
honestly, playing around with it.
oh yeah, perfect. So yeah, as you've seen before, I like to come on in and I will always be streaming on Twitch every Saturday. As Player X said, you can catch my Twitch link down in the description below. I'm playing all things Yu-Gi-Oh when I'm streaming on Saturdays. This past Saturday I was playing Master Duel, trying to climb up in the Battle Pass, and I finally got my cross sheet mate that I've been playing for the past couple of weeks. So I'm rocking. Yep, I'm rocking that little man in his little rocking chair, just knitting some animals, having a good time. So we had a good stream last time. Had a few new faces pop on in, and we went on a 12-win undefeated streak. I literally went the whole stream, not losing a single game. So that was pretty good. I wish I could do that in real life. but it was a good time though. So no, yeah, if you're ever looking for something fun to do on a Saturday night, come on into the stream and let's play some Yu-Gi-Oh and talk Yu-Gi-Oh. So I'm all about it.
Absolutely, and be sure to check it out once again in the description box below. I'll be sure to link it in there. But getting into the episode, because we didn't want to take up too much of your time today, but we did need to recap a couple of things that happened over the weekend. One of them being the second hosted, I should say, tournament that Semi-Limited Podcast has thrown together, hosted and sponsored by Unplugged Gaming. We had a case tournament, a singles case tournament for the newest set that came out, Age of Overlord. And that was a really fun tournament. We had double digits of people coming out there, so we had a bunch of fun. Good cards were pulled. People were pulling SP Little Knights, and they were pulling the wanteds that they wanted for the Sinful Spoils archetype. It was a lot of fun, and I think that everyone enjoyed themselves up there. We had a top 4 for prizing, so that's the only top representation that we're talking about. So with that being said, our top 4 was Pirelli, Flu, Infernoble, and Horus PK, with Eric Christensen our hometown legend, taking the event down with Horus PK. And we also made sure to take the deck profile and put it up on our YouTube. So be sure to check that out. Also in the description box below on that Linktree link. You can go click there, join our YouTube, and see exactly what he played for the event and the lines of play that you had if you are unfamiliar with a deck or need a refresher on some of the PK moves with the incorporation of the Horus engine. But it was a fun time, and people sure did and enjoyed themselves. And there was a bunch of diversity, which I really liked. A couple of people playing the new cards, and even with a tournament on a smaller end scale like this, SP Little Knight was definitely making its debut very, very strong, hitting the ground running. I think it was like played in almost every deck of anyone who can afford to play it, was just cramming it in there. And it showed not only on that, but on the stream as well, that it was quite a powerful card.
Card is nuts. It's so good. It's so damn good. It's not even fair.
It's single-handedly be taken over duels sometimes. Like every duel that mattered, you can see the pivotal part where SP Little Knight was putting in work.
Yep.
So definitely crazy to see it. So be sure to go check that out. And congrats to not only Eric, but everyone else in Top Cut for also winning some prize again, for everyone for showing up and having fun. But speaking of bigger competitions that happened over the weekend, we also had the YCS, so YCS Indy, so Indianapolis, for those who are unfamiliar. With just over 1,900 players, it was an intense competition with many decks showing that they could perform. But Rescue Ace proving to be the deck to beat for that event, and it was piloted by Steven Santoli, who took it all down and got first place, beating another Rescue Ace player in the mirror match for the finals. And that's something I thought was crazy. Out of all the decks that were going to be represented, especially even Tier coming back and being still represented in the Top Cut, for it to be a Rescue Ace finals means that those decks were really performing.
Yeah, seeing so many Rescue Ace players was honestly surprising to me as well. I mean, I think it could have been because of the new Sinful Spoil stuff that came out that could have, probably enticed players to play the Rescue Ace package and see if it would be, more competitive, which it definitely proved to be. But I was thinking it might, be something more like a Pearly, possibly, Infernoble. I mean, there was a lot of different choices, but seeing so many Rescue Ace players was surprising.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even if you look at the top 32 breakdown, you could see that there was in numerical representation. We have one Vanquish Soul player, one Runic player, one Exosister player, one Rika player, one Labyrinth player, one Flu player. Shout out to Albert Park. One Horus Dragon Link. That's pretty cool. Two Unchained players. Shout out to Vaughn. Two Sprite players. Let's go. Two Manadium players, shout outs to Triff, who was one of them, and then shout outs to Ryan Kimball, aka Father Rye, just for, play testing with that deck. We got three Tier Elements player, fuck you, Jake. Four Pirelli players, fuck you, Brendan, and I guess Mr. Purrfect. And then topping it in a whopping, like, 3rd% representation was Rescue Ace. Rescue Ace had 12 players piloting the deck into the top 32. That's crazy amount, in my opinion. And then going into even the top 16, we still have the one Exosister player, one Horus Bestial, which was the Dragon Link, I think, player. We have the Rika Sun Avalon. We have Unchained. We have Pirelli. We have two Manadium players, two Tiamat players, and then the rest were all, once again, Rescue Ace players. And then going straight in even to the top 8, even more represented with the Rescue Ace. We have one Unchained, one Exosister, one Pirelli, one Manadium, one Tier Elements, and 3 Rescue Ace players, and then both of those made it to the finals up there, creating a finals mirror match of both the Rescue Ace archetype. That's crazy to me, in my opinion.
Do you think it's only because of the Sinful Spoil stuff that Rescue Ace was still represented?
I think because it was new and that most people either didn't know what it was going to do or how it interacted with that deck, that made it so that way it was a contender for sure. I think that the ignorance that most people have at transitional points in formats, or when new cards are implemented into the format and they're not fully understood, I think that those are interactions that can snatch you up wins. And especially with a competition or a tournament with the size of that, where the set was legal no more than 2 days before the tournament even started, that definitely gives you a, I guess, competitive edge when it comes to deck planning and execution of your, lines of play.
Yeah, and like you said, that was over 1,900 players. Like,
correct.
So many people. So
piloting so many different types of decks. I mean, speaking of crazy decks too, I mean, you even saw Jeff Leonard playing something like an Exodia FTK, but it didn't go into Top Cut representation, but definitely pulled off some crazy like competitive like deck building that I saw. Like there was a lot of things in that room. So for Rescue Ace to really come through and play like that was pretty crazy, in my opinion.
Not gonna lie, I was really hoping Jeff would win. I was hoping Jeff would win the whole thing with Exodia.
I
That
did
would have
not
been
hope that he won with everything. He does not need a YCS top with Exodia. But I was glad that he won on stream and he was undefeated when he won. I think he went to lose the next 3 and eventually dropped out of the event. But he definitely showed that it doesn't matter what your age. If you have a love for Yu-Gi-Oh, you can still come in and do competitively well.
with any deck.
Knowing, with any deck that you put some time and consideration into, that man had a game plan. He knew that he was only going to lose to cards like Droll and D-Shifter, and that as long as he didn't see any of those 2 cards, he remembered his lines of play and knew that if I don't get interacted with, or even if I do, if I could sidestep it and keep on with the game plan, that we could still pull it through. And that's exactly what happened, not only for the first couple games he played, but even on stream. You saw where he got interacted with his I sold, got bounced back by one of the Shizu cards, and then he still was able to play. And then he got hand trapped with the Herald of the Origin Light. And although he skipped his turn, he eventually came back to him, and he definitely knew exactly what he had to do to secure the win. So it was kind of crazy to see. And not even gonna lie, props to Jeff Leonard.
Yeah, our Lord and Savior Jeff. No, that was amazing to see. Absolutely.
And it's not even to say that it was like a light event, like just because like Exodia FTK was winning. Like there were notable names. Like I think some of the people who didn't even make Top Cut were like Jesse Cotton, Austin Collins, or DB Grinder, Shu Ping. All these players like definitely went and just barely missed Top Cut. So there was like a tough crowd for people who were in there. Even one of our Buffalo players made it up there. Johnny V, shout outs to him. So.
I gotta ask this one too, Axe. I gotta ask. How did Barry do?
Oh, I don't know. Barry didn't communicate with me how he did. I'm assuming, if I were to put it, I would say Barry probably played day 1 straight through. If I know Barry, regardless of how bad he did, but he probably went to go do side events for day 2, and then they probably left promptly at like 6 o'clock. I would assume.
Yeah,
I would assume.
Hey, shout out to Barry.
You tell us, Barry. Yeah, you come tell us. He did make that trip. One of our sponsored duelists, Matt Pelletier, made the trip. He had told me in his recap he had went 2-0 and then lost 2 straight, and eventually he just dropped to go play some Edison competitions. And I guess the tournaments he did in Edison, he did way better than in the main event. So shouts to him for representing the crew and going out there and having some fun. But it wasn't anything too crazy as far as I heard.
Well, hey, you never know.
Buffalo players had more representation in Top Cut and in the tournament overall than a lot of us QCians did this event. But there wasn't a lot of us that went, honestly.
Yeah, only 2, but it's all right. We'll get them next time.
I think Red Shirt went too, but I'm not sure if he classifies as down here or up there. He's kind of smack in the middle. Red Shirt, you have to pledge your allegiance. But yeah, just wanted to give a recap for that. Do you think that this is going to be a representation of like our format moving forward? Do you think that we are going to see competitively, I should say, more Rescue Ace in the format? Or is this something that just because no one knew what the cards were, it was able to kind of sneak its way in, but you don't think it's going to be formidable enough to stay?
To be 100% honest with you, like I get a deck and I can't even say Rescue Ace. Like decks like Unchained have been seeing a growth in popularity. Like Inferno even a little bit with some like the new stuff, like the Charles and stuff. There's like a couple, like I don't want to say rogue, but there's I feel like the format is still being figured out. I mean, like there's like a couple of like obvious like top meta contenders, like like Pearly is still good. Tier limit you can kind of throw away as like a tier 1-ish, like it's still good.
Yeah, I still consider it strong. Yeah,
like Rescue Ace, like again, like especially considering the new stuff, like yeah, and obviously like the representation, it speaks for itself. It was definitely something to look for, but I still feel like in a sense like the meta is still being figured out. Especially with like SP Little Knight being so splashable in so many decks, like it can make like any, I mean, granted, it's not like a completely budget card, but it can make any type of deck like just so much more competitive. There's just so many options to play. I mean, I feel like there's really no telling what is the real good defining decks here for the format. So
No, I can definitely agree with that. I do think that this is a good mold for how the format will move forward, or at least a good scope for people to like get definitely a game plan going as far as like what decks they can expect to see. Things like Sun Avalon, Flu still being around, Unchained still being a strong deck. I could see the Sprite representation because I personally have been playing Sprite for a little bit and play testing, trying to get back on it. Pearly's still pretty strong. It still has the ability to do everything it can. It hasn't been hit on any real lists. And even with the inclusion of cards like Sky Crisis or Typhon or however people are calling them, like the ability to just go second and, as we saw in these YCS streams, just be able to stick one monster and have to threaten your opponent's disruption. Otherwise, they might fall to a hard summon monster that's going to stop their entire board. You saw cards like, or in simplified game states, people making Barone and passing. I normal summon a monster. If you can't interact with it, I'm just gonna slap down a fucking Sky Crisis, bounce back your Barone, and then keep, basically board presence with a floodgate monster that's gonna be hard to disrupt without activating effects of higher, level monsters.
and something else I noticed too, actually, not that I'm kind of looking through the list, and I didn't even hear this once this whole weekend. This entire weekend, I didn't hear this name once. And if you kind of look through the deck, even looking through it now, even like the top 50, I'm not even seeing one. And if you can't guess by now, X, it's branded. I
Yeah.
didn't hear Gimmick Puppet once this whole weekend, and it was wonderful. It was a beautiful thing.
Well, me and Brendan had talked about that, and we kind of had that conversation going back and forth every once in a while, where it just comes down to the conversion rate of that deck. The representation might be there, maybe as far as like the lower tier 2 decks, because it's still strong at what it does. But I would say even with cards play like Little Knight, being able to just threaten the board if you try to do something like that, being able to banish 2 cards, like it's not that easy to stick that gimmick lock, I would say, in this format, which is the biggest gimmick for it, pun intended.
But then again, if it stays like underrepresented, then because I personally still think gimmick puppet is a problem card.
It is a problem card, yes.
But if it's not represented, we won't really see it hit. But I don't know. Hopefully it stays that way. I don't mind not seeing Brandon in the top
but yeah, there are arguments for a bunch of different cards that could get hit. People wanted to see Eradicator banned or at least touched in some way, shape, or form, because once that resolves, it's kind of game ending. There's a whole bunch of just game button cards. Arguably, a card like Gravity Collapse could be ban worthy. The ability to stop summoning for the entire turn by just getting rid of attributing a synchro monster. You're gonna put up a bullshit synchro monster, set a card, and skip my opponent's turn. Like, that's just crazy for decks like Midadium, Sword Soul, anything that's gonna be synchroing, a synchro adventure package, all that stuff. Like, every deck needs an edge.
That is true. I guess you just got to make someone mad enough so they complain about it, and they just beg Konami to ban it.
Konami just needs their spirit energy.
Yeah, for real.
You know what I'm saying? If you get enough spirit energy gathered up, they'll just ban the card. That's what happened to Arise Heart. Everyone just wanted to funnel their fucking scapegoat energy at Arise Heart and got his ass banned. I know. And then now we're allowing decks like this to just fucking walk up into the format. You guys chose this. I want to let everyone know. Anyone listening to this, you guys fucking chose this.
Tell me how you really feel about that ban.
I was mad as fuck.
Damn, 3 starlights though. I know. I still feel bad about that. That's wild.
It is what it is.
You still got 3 shifters.
Bum bum ba bum.
But like I said, you still got 3 shifters, so that's good.
I do still have 3 shifters. And that's not to say Cash isn't even dead. It's not really necessarily gone for sure, but it definitely has to take a backseat this format. I've seen Jeff Jones's fiance doing well with the deck, taking what was he called War Crimes Cash Tira to a case tournament. He got second place playing basically Floodgate Tira, go burr. So it's not that it's dead. I've also seen deck play, or I've been play testing with the lock 5 zones on your opponent's turn, which isn't necessarily bad. It's just reliant on a lot of things going your way, and that's like where I don't like for my decks to be. But you gotta give up certain things and compromises to be able to play the decks you like. So we'll see where it goes with there. But I don't think it's necessarily that. I do think that someone's gonna go out there and crack it.
I don't know. I might have to take a crack at this Exodia deck though that we were talking about from Jeff. I might have to start bringing that
You're
to locals.
fucking bugging. You're
see
fucking
if I
bugging.
can see if I can Exodia some people.
You know, remember Kevin? Shout out to Kevin from Heart of the Podcast group. And shout outs to Heart of the Podcast too. But he got Exodia FTK'd at the regional in Rochester, and we were clowning him for it. And we just said, I've never seen anyone get Exodia FTK'd in like the longest time. And it wasn't this. It was just a regular like draw 80 cards Exodia deck. But we were clowning him for it.
Speaking of losing, and this is worse than Exodia, and I know Joey gonna hear this, and I have to roast him for this.
Oh, okay. What happened?
Did you see what happened yesterday at locals?
Nah, no.
It was round 3. Joey got paired against that newer kid, Michael.
Oh my god, yeah.
Michael beat him.
Michael beat Joey?
Yeah.
Wasn't he playing like a structure deck?
Yeah, with no sleeves.
No way.
And he
Walters lost to a structured deck sleeveless goon. No way.
I will say, in Joey's
he lost
defense,
in 2 or he lost in 3?
He lost in 3. I will say, in Joey's defense, because obviously you can't say that right now. In Joey's defense, I didn't see how the game played out, but he did say he bricked. So, in his defense, he bricked. I didn't see it. As far as I'm concerned, he lost. But it was funny as shit.
I would have said the same shit. If you're going to brick, at least see a shifter, nigga. God damn.
So I don't know what I forgot. Oh no, he was playing Ryan's deck, the Sprite Runic Live Twin, and I don't know what happened.
Yeah, he bricked apparently. I want to see his hand. There's no way his hands are as bad as mine. I definitely have bad hands when I have bad hands. I tell you that. Brendan calls it the X curse. I love it because it's the best representation of it.
Yeah, so anything is definitely possible when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh. You know, you have Jeff Leonard winning with Exodia. You have Structure decks winning locals. So if
I was Joey, I'd have sharked him and be like, "Yo, you need sleeves on that deck. You're over here stacking certain cards.
Someone said that outside.
Judge marking."
Someone said that outside. They were like, "Hey, he ain't got no sleeves on his deck, right?" They were like, "Why did you call Judge when you were losing?"
Yo, imagine that. He just goes start mid combo. He puts up 8,000. Goes enter battle phase. He goes, hold on, wait a tick.
What's on the back of that card?
There's no sleeves on this. He goes full combo and everything.
Go to battle phase. How much is that? That's 8,300. Judge.
Judge, hold on. Before you attack, Judge, this guy's got no sleeves. I can't tell what card has been what. All right, I want a game loss. Yeah, we're gonna go into game 3, no sighting. Sorry.
It was quite fun though. I had to roast him for it. Much love, Joey. Joey knows, he's an OG Yu-Gi-Oh player. I've known him for the longest time, but.
Yeah, Mr. Walters, you gotta get yours too. Everyone's gonna get on a chopper block. You already know what it is.
Until 2024, you're not living that down.
I think not even then. I think he'll probably hear that for quite some time. If Devon still has to hear about his losses to Ben Barrios, Joey's gonna hear about this for some time.
Or Cliff, when he did.
Or Cliff. Yeah. Shout out to the homie Cliff.
For real. Oh, yeah.
But with that being said, guys, we're starting to run out of life points. We just wanted to reiterate some facts to you guys. As we said, go down to the link tree. It's in the description box below. You can click on it, follow all the social sites, whether it be YouTube, our Facebook page, Instagram, TikTok, whatever you want to go follow. I should suggest all of them, but whatever is more your liking or more your wave, you can be sure to go down there, click the follow, the subscribe, the notification bell, whatever you got to click, but make sure you get a part of it. Next episode, we'll be announcing the Twitter/X giveaway for hitting that. It's going to be a box of Age of Overlord that we're going to need to give out to one lucky fan who has followed our page and retweeted that post. No one else on the team is going to win it. Trent and Brad, who are pointing to themselves right now. But be sure to be a part of those next drawings that are coming up, probably for the Instagram and the YouTube that we hit next. We're going to shout out once again Unplugged for not only hosting that case tournament for us, but for also just being the homies and sponsoring this giveaway as well as any future giveaways. So shout outs to them at Manlius, New York for sponsoring the podcast and showing love, guys. Be sure to show love to their Discord in the description box down below as well. And be sure to catch Brad, aka Mr. Purrfect, live streaming every Saturday on Twitch at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure to check your time zone if you're not in the United States. And his Twitch will also be in the link tree down below. Also, be sure to catch our content that we've been trying to drop out there. Brad has been doing Purrfect Pulls, which has been pack opening series where he opens sealed product, whether it be core sets, maybe some booster boxes, maybe even some OTS packs. And we're going to start giving away some of the nice cards that we pull to all of you subscribers and all of you commenters and followers. So be sure to check those out, as well as the local legends that will be dropping next week, only because of the fact that we had the deck profile for Eric Christensen, who won our case tournament, that dropped on Sunday in place of it. So be sure to check out that deck profile on our YouTube as well. You already know, follow all the sites, giveaway coming, so be sure to check in next episode. I am Player X, and you've been listening to the Semi Limited Podcast. Thank you, and good night.